We saw people who weren't waiting for the government to come. They were getting their chainsaws, getting their ATVs, they were coming together, and they were going and clearing roads and doing what they could. This particular family along the Broad River, someone had said to them, well, if you have Starlink, you get cell service. And they were like, what? And so they went back and they looked at the situation. They were able to hook it up to a truck. Then the fireman came by and said, you know, I can bring you a generator, you can hook it up to that. So they ended up hooking it up, and then they became a hub. They became a little town there, just that community. We saw people coming from miles away just to make a phone call at this one house. Not only were they coming there for that cell service, they also took all of our donations that everybody's been sending, and they had sort of a store. They had it all set up, all organized, so that people could come by and get what they need. And then every night, they were serving dinner for 15, 20 people. But it makes us realize that we're all humans. We're all together in a similar situation. And if we work together, we're stronger.
And as some places reopen, many others are just beginning the rebuilding process.
One of the hardest hit areas in western North Carolina was along Highway 9 between Swannanoa and Chimney Rock.
Chief Meteorologist Lainey Pope visited the region recently and shares one family's story of hope in the wake of heartbreaking loss.
It was scary. It was. We really felt like we had nowhere to go. It was 4 foot deep running down Highway 9.
Tracy Worley has lived along the Broad River since she was 2 years old.
It was a great place to grow up on this river that's always been what drew us to this spot. We loved it.
But they never expected the river to turn and rage like it did on September 27th.
It just kept getting higher and higher and faster, and then the bridge gave, and that was just really scary. And
that's when Tracy and her husband Jimmy moved a few hundred yards down Highway 9 to shelter with their aunt and uncle.
We watched the water just keep coming up, and it started beating into the window, my daughter's window on the end of the house. And it just kept beating against it until it finally just beat it in. And then it washed across her bedroom, and it washed the floor down. And it just, all of her belongings.
It also washed out part of Highway 9 right in front of them. They remained safe just feet from the highway. Thankfully, some fallen trees had diverted the river back into its bed.
We were so cut off from the world. That was probably one of the scariest things when it happened. No cell service. I couldn't call my daughter at school, and we finally got just a little bit of signal at the top of the mountain.
Tracy would tell her daughter away at college that they were okay, but her bedroom and everything in it were gone, including her college softball championship ring.
She was like, "Mom, my ring's gone."
All of her childhood things gone.
She had lots of trophies from cow shows, all her medals, all her belt buckles she would win. All that went down the river. She doesn't have a home to come to. You know, she has family to come to, but as far as a home, you know, they'll probably have to take the house down. My husband went to his knees and cried. This was his mother's house. It used to be a beautiful place. The grass went out to the river. You could sit in the backyard and look at the river. It was just gorgeous. It's very traumatic. You know, it happened. It's real.
The reality is that it could have been far worse.
We did lose, you know, things that were very precious to my daughter, but just to remember the people that have absolutely nothing at this time of year. I mean, they've lost their homes, they've lost their vehicles, some of them have lost family members, and it's just heartbreaking. And it's going to take a long time for this community to rebuild.
You know, I've been in touch with Tracy and her family over the last few weeks, and she told me today they were without power for 18 days. Wow. They've got power back. They have water. They are currently in a rental in Black Mountain, and they're going to build a garage apartment, and then they hope to rebuild the home, but they're going to build it on another piece of property because she said her husband just doesn't want to go back.
And after seeing that, I mean,
That's so
seeing the water,
traumatizing.
seeing the bridge give way,
right.
it's traumatizing.
Yeah.